What is up, YouTube? The Dragon here. And one of my previous figured out videos, I went over trucker math. And in that video I explained, your time, distance, and speed, and equations that would help you figure out all that jazz. Well, for this figure it out, I'm gonna delve into trucker math version 2. And that's just figuring out your start and stop times based on the 24-hour clock. For those of you that don't go by the 24-hour clock, I suggest you start going by it because it'll save you a lot of headache later. You don't have to worry about, oh, is it 8 p.m. or 8 a.m.? You can go, oh, it's 8 in the morning or it's 2000. It took me a little getting used to, but once you get used to it, it makes your job a lot easier. It also makes calculating your times a lot easier. And that's what I'm going to dig into with this figure it out. I came up with a little trick. I don't know if you know this trick. This might be the way you're supposed to do it. I don't know. This is just how I figured it out, my way of doing it, and that's just the way I do it. So if you're ready to get confused, let's get into it. So this can get confusing, but hopefully this will help some of you out because it's fairly simple. It is simple. So if you already know, let's just go, for sake of example, we're going to use 10 hours as a baseline. We all got to take a 10-hour break, and it makes it easier to add and subtract on the 24-hour clock. So the early morning hours, let's just say 8 o'clock. Early morning hours are easy to add 10 hours to because it's always like a one-to-one comparison. So 800 hours... you take a 10-hour break, so you're adding 10 hours. That would be 1800 in the afternoon when you can start again. So you stop at 800, take a 10-hour break, and you can start again at 1800. This is self-explanatory. It's one-to-one. Boom. Let's separate that out here. So let's say you're in the afternoon hours, and you want to take a 10-hour break. It doesn't really add up as easily. So let's just say, we already got 8s going on here. So you stop at 1800 in the afternoon, and you take a 10-hour break. This doesn't quite add up because now it's going to be 28 hours. Well, what the hell is 2800 hours? What's that mean as far as time goes? Well, that's easy. All you got to do is find the difference from 24. So you take the large number you get, subtract it from 24, and that'll give you your early morning hours. And in this case, it'll be 400 hours, 4 in the morning. This equation works no matter what time it is. If you just take the large number, subtract it from 24, bam, it gives you your early morning hours. You can even count with your fingers. Your fingers will work too. If you don't believe me, you take 1800 and you take 10, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. That's 10, 4 in the morning. It all adds up. So, I don't know. This way is a lot faster than trying to count on your fingers, I think. So this is the one half of it. So let's say you want to go back in time. Now, why would you want to go back in time? Because that would be fucking awesome, wouldn't it? But aside from being real cool, sometimes you might want to drive up to a certain time, take a 10-hour break, and then well, that doesn't make sense because that's how we normally work anyway. So let's say you deliver at a certain time in the morning and you want to take your 10-hour break sometime before your delivery. So you want your 10-hour break to be over right as you want to deliver, or a little bit before. Well, going backwards in time will help you figure this out. The way I just showed you, we're going forward. We're stopping, taking a 10-hour break, and figuring out our start time. Whereas this way, we're figuring out what time we have to stop, so that way we can start at a certain time. Aha! Told you, confusing. So, in this sense, it's easier. It's like a mirror. That's kind of why I'm drawing it like this, because it's like a mirror of each other. In essence, when you're going backwards in time, the larger numbers are easier to subtract from. So, as an example, if it's... I hit the wrong button and I messed my recording up. But anyway, let me get my pen here. In essence, it's the same. You're just going backwards. So, let's just stick with the 8 theme here. It's 1800, and all you got to do is subtract 10 hours. Now, instead of adding, now we're just subtracting. So you subtract 10 hours, and this will give you 8 in the morning, 800 hours. So, in this sense, if you're going backwards in time, the larger numbers are actually easier, because you could just subtract 10, bam, get your answer. But what do you do if you're in the early morning hours, the smaller numbers? Then this is where it gets tricky, because now it's not as easy as it seems, but it is. So let me just find a weird odd number. I'm going to break the pattern and go with 3 in the morning. So it is 3 in the morning. Let's just say your delivery is at 4. You want your 10-hour break to be over at 3. So what time do you have to stop so your reset is over by 3? So you take 3 and subtract it from 10, and this will give you 7. I'm writing it like this because it makes it easier to comprehend. So you take the 7 and you subtract it from 24, and that'll give you 24, 20, 17. So you know you'll have to stop by 1700. 1700, a 10-hour break would be 3 in the morning, and then you could make your delivery. If you don't believe me, you take 17. You can use the trick we just used, or you can use your fingers. 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 0, 1, 2, 3 in the morning. Or you could take 17 plus 10. You know, we could do it the opposite way. The way, you take 17, you can plus 10, and make it 27. Oh, my pen's running out. 27 minus the 24, and that'll give you, it'll still give you 3 in the morning. Bam. So this is, I guess, a continuation. It's just like bam, 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 bam. But yeah, anyway, it all works out. Hopefully you're thoroughly confused, but that's just a trick I use, and hopefully it'll help some of y'all out with figuring out your start and stop times and when, to figure that out. But that is that. I hope y'all enjoyed that. And as always, be safe out there, and be water, my friends.